Storytime with Andy and Amanda.
Right, Amanda, what are we doing today?
We're doing story time.
Yeah, story time with
Andy and Amanda and the special guest.
Yeah. Now, obviously, people listen to our first one will notice it was just me and Amanda, but we want to start not necessarily every month, but we'll be bringing occasional guests on. And we've got a wonderful gentleman with us today. It's one of our favourite comics, poets, hardcore punk rocker. I think he does pretty well with everything. So, mysterious guest, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello, this is Rich Davenport at your service. Audience, lovely pals. How are you all?
Rock and roll. Always great to see you again here, Rich. So, how have you been keeping?
Not too bad, all things considered. Thanks. Yeah. You both doing okay?
Oh, you know me, causing shit wherever I go. Amanda?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with story time, what we're going to do today is Rich on because he's a genius, this guy. And he's just turned around and told us what this forthcoming second book's going to be called. So, do you want to give people any hints, Rich? That'll give you a good clue what you like.
Yeah. Well, the actual book itself is called Horse Trousers, and it features a section of short stories which is titled "Shadows Hang in the Ether." And if you put those letters together, it spells shite.
So that's what we got with Rich. I love you, mate. Like, you're so funny and you're comical. So, right, mate. Obviously, you've got another book out called Gormless as well, which I'm presuming you're reading from today, at least one piece anyway. So,
yep.
Right, we'll let you start off then, mate.
No problem. Thank you very much. It was lovely to be here. Thanks for having me on the show, and it's nice to catch up with you two. This one, it's based on the northern sweary expression "bloody Nora," which to me sounds like an old lady who's become a serial killer. And I've combined that with the idea of, at school, we used to have knit nurses who used to come round and check everybody's head for knits. I'm not saying it was a rough school, but when people say, "What do you leave school with?" I say, "All my own teeth." Basically, I've put the idea of Bloody Nora and Knitting Nora the Bug Explorer, as we used to call it, together. This is from my first book, Gormless, which is available now. And this is the Ballad of Bloody Nora. Nasty notions nag within the noggin of old knit nurse Nora. After 50 years of scalp surveillance, she could stand no more. Her sanity was slowly stolen by insomnia. Her husband was a snorer. Criminally insane would be the best description for her. For decades, the kid's knit discomfort really got a goat. But now the goat's been sacrificed. She's flipped and slit its throat. She doesn't blame the children, gives discreet shampoo no shame. It's crystal clear in Nora's eyes, the parents are to blame. With her meat cleaver in hand, she now begins her killing spree. You filthy gits have all got nits as far as I can see. See her bulging egg-eyed glare, she's deadly as a rabid stoat. Nora's knit cure is simple, cuts her earth off at the throat. Her rampage knows no limits as she tears across the nation. Septuagenarian serial killer seeks to spread decapitation. From town to town she travels in her mobile home, a Torah. She's still at large. Pray you don't face the blade of bloody Nora.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. That's one of my favourite pieces of yours, that, Rich. Amanda, what have you got to say?
I have no words.
Apart from bloody Nara, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, it's always a pleasure having you on, Rich. That's just absolutely sublime, that one, mate. So it's a great start. Amanda.
Okay, this is called Snow People. It was meant to be a peaceful, snowy walk in the woods. She'd take photos and post them on Instagram. But as she lined up the shot on her phone, she saw people in the distance. Then she heard the chanting. She didn't know why, but she started filming whatever it was, zooming in for better footage. Maybe that could go on Instagram too. She didn't realise at first what she spotted. It was only obvious as they ran towards her, the chanting getting louder, though she still couldn't understand the words. She ran as she started the live stream on Facebook. If these were to be her final moments, she wanted everyone to know what happened to her. The phone fell from her hand as she was dragged by pairs of hands into a nearby field. As they rolled her over and over in the snow, she suddenly understood the words they were chanting. Snowman, 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 over and over again as they transformed her into a snowman, and the ice became an extension of her, freezing her heart, and the world became colder than she ever thought possible.
You cheerful little thing, isn't you, Rich? Very you, that one. Was that the one that you did a video on, Amanda?
Yeah, I found a video where they were like a snowman, and you could make it talk as you told. So it was like a snowman reading it. It's on YouTube somewhere.
I've seen the link to that, Richard. It's really, really surreal.
No, I love that. I love the way you sort of brought it. It was like the way you described it. It was like you didn't give the ending away of what she was going towards. It came in. It was like the camera was zooming in the way the story went. And I loved it because it reminded me of those series like The Twilight Zone, where someone stumbles on something and something. It's not quite horror, but it is a little bit of like enjoyable horror where you're not watching it and going, but it's like you're intrigued as to what's going to happen, and something like that is the end of it. So yeah, it was obvious that she'd been frozen by the end of it. So it was kind of, the imagery was brilliant, and the way you described it, it was like the camera just focusing in, and then she met her fate.
She's brilliant, you are, Amanda, with them, because she's got a style band, like it's surreal but nasty and funny at the same time. So right, the first one I'm going to do, this actually is a true story, actually. So not happened to me. Whereas you wouldn't know this, Richard. I used to work at the job centre in Didsbury some years ago. And I've changed the names around in this one to protect the guilty. Not the innocent, that's the guilty. And this is anyone knows what Secret Santa is? This is what you don't do with Secret Santa. She'd divorced him in August. Everybody in the office knew. By the time Secret Santa came around, everybody was ready to get her a name after all the bad mouthing she has said about her ex in the restroom every break and lunchtime. I hope I don't get her, Andy said. I wouldn't know what to buy her. I'm not doing it if I draw a name, Amanda threatened. You can't win either way if you draw that name. Be kind to her, Reggie chipped in. The poor woman's just come out of a 20-year marriage. I sat next to her in the pub and that works do the other month, Mike said. It was a frigging nightmare. I've never seen anybody so frustrated. Rich drew her name out of the hat, and Antonio told everybody in the restroom with relief. He bought her a vibrator and changed his handwriting. They had to call the police at the end of the day the following week after everybody had passed their presents round, when they thought somebody had left a bomb in the bin outside. So, I remember that well, to be honest with you. Because like I said, it's crazy, isn't it? Like you always say, don't you? Like the funniest stories are usually fact rich, aren't they, to a degree?
Yeah. And that's why I'm not the same Rich in the story, though.
No, different Rich altogether. All the names in that story have been changed. Right? So that's why. But it's just like I said, it's I'll be honest with you, Matt, I never had to go doing flash fiction. And until being lockdown, Amanda's been encouraging me. So we've been encouraging it all along, and it's been great fun. Like you sent some pieces into us as well. I thought our spell is increasing, right? So.
I enjoyed that, mate. Yeah, the sort of, and I like the dialogue because it was really kind of realistic, and you just felt you were in among the conversation with everyone.
Yeah, it's fun, hadn't it? I remember it well that day. Anyway, mate, back to you, my friend, for number 2.
All right, thank you. Right, this next one is a Spanish themed poem called Pantalones de Amor, which is Spanish for the trousers of love. It's probably better if you imagine Antonio Banderas reading this to you. It's probably a stretch, but if you have booze at home, readers, this is the time. Okay. In my wardrobe, they swing from a hanger above. Pantalones de Amor, the trousers of love. They are made of black velvet with diamonds down the seam. I must wear them with earplugs because the ladies all scream. My erogenous trousers fill them with delight. They're flared at the bottom, round the buttocks they're tight. So tight are my trousers that when ladies greet me, they ask, are those castanets in your pocket or are you just placed to make me? I am chased down the street in these lady arousers, but their love's not for me. It's just for the trousers. Hypnotized and bewitched by the diamonds that gleam, they claw at them wildly and pull at the seams. I can't run fast enough, so I have to be smarter. I'm afraid if they catch me, they'll beat my piñata. With the power of trousers comes responsibility, and the ladies run here, they run faster than me. So they hang now in mothballs, I don't wear them no more. Dangerous love trousers. Pantalones de amor.
Tremendous. Wonder, did that sound like Antonio Barris to you?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've not heard that one before, Rich. So what was the inspiration behind that piece then?
Trousers, basically.
Oh, excellent, mate. Oh no, I just loved the voice. I thought you had a really good accent with that as well, then, John. So I don't know if it sounded much like the actor you're trying to do, but
no, nothing like him whatsoever. He's the only Spanish actor I could think of, really.
Tremendous, mate. Anyway, Amanda.
Right. This is called Last Man on Earth. That year, it was unseasonably warm. In fact, the forecast for December 25th was 33 degrees, but it was actually closer to 40. They blamed global warming, except for those who blamed something else. Conspiracy theorists were out in full force. Some said not to believe the government's lies about global warming. They insisted they had seen temperatures drop to below minus, but when asked to provide proof of this, they just said the truth would come out soon enough. They refused to stay in their homes and ran outside, instantly combusting in the heat. Then came the Brexit conspiracy theorists. They claimed the unusual heat was all about Brexit. When asked how, they could not explain either. So the COVID deniers joined in with their own insane theory. They reckoned all the double or triple jab people who were now 5G compatible had set off the sun when their microchips exploded in unison, just as the government had planned it. People were offered Factor 2000 sunscreen but refused to take it because it had been made quickly, using the knowledge already gained from existing sunscreens. But they said it was an experimental trial and they'd rather use the natural immune system not to burn in the sun. They all burst into flames instead, and everyone posted laughing emojis on Facebook, even though nobody could quite explain why anyone would find that funny. So as New Year rolled around, everyone who was left fought among themselves. It became like an unspoken contest to see who could come up with the wackiest theory for the unexplained heat. By Easter, one person remained, but he had enough. One morning, he left his basement and walked into the sun's rays, letting them finish him off. And that's how the last human died.
Oh, Rich, she did that. She did that at Speakeasy on last week. Actually, she did. Obviously, I had people cracking up that one at certain points of that. It's... Go on, Amanda. Tell Rich what you've got to tell me about that piece before. When you were glad somebody wasn't there, weren't you?
Oh, I'm not going to say that here, am I?
No, of course no. But there were certain people we know that
we know some people that are anti-vaxxers, and it wouldn't have gone down very well if they were there.
No.
That's the best way of putting it straight away with that one. Well, what made you write that piece, Amanda?
It was a prompt in our workshop. I think it was Last Man on Earth.
I can't remember. That's why it's very her, Richard, and it's very satirical, basically, and just killing everybody off, basically. So, which we kind of get used to you, Amanda, definitely. So, right.
Absolutely. It's a nice little time capsule, that one as well. That would be a nice one to look back on in a few years' time because it really sums up what's happening.
Oh, she's very clever. Right. My second piece was. Have you ever read the book, Rich? The Curious. What's the book called, Amanda? The Curious Instance of the Dog at Nighttime.
The Dog in Nighttime, yeah.
No. I remember it coming out, but I haven't read it.
It's a tremendous book. It really is. And the poem's got nothing to do with it, but the titles of it are homage to it, where it's called The Curious Incident of the Strange Christmas Presents in the Hotel Car Park. Oh, we have company as well. I see there.
This is Alfie.
It's gorgeous. Looks a big soft lump as well.
It's just a cat for everybody that can't see on the podcast.
Not Rich.
I am where he's concerned. This is my manager. He's the brains of the operation.
Anyway, this one here, Rich, just came off a photograph I saw actually the other year, actually, of some very strange things that were left in a hotel car park. And as I was writing it, do you remember me at the time, man, telling you this? I thought it just felt like that sort of homage, didn't it, straight away? So,
yeah.
So this came The Curious Incident of the Strange Christmas Presents in the Hotel Car Park. Who left that blow-up Santa Claus at the edge of the car park, with its backside dangling up in the ice-cold air, and the reindeer on top of it? So it looked like it was, well, Neither of us knew. Oh, the beer bottles in 2 sacks, which had clearly been a present for somebody in the other, and the half-empty tin of Quality Street laid out across the ground like a landing strip. Who left a Christmas willy warmer next to the Donald Trump newspaper, on top of the car park meter, and the broken sledge in between the 2 cars, giving the impression it had crash-landed from somewhere. The pound-on box of biscuits untroubled in the snow, on top of the world map in German, spread out across the ground, clinging on to life in the cold, like a detective novel with its pages clung shut. That's why. So anyway, see, that's it. Yeah. I do like that one as well. I think that's one of your favourites, that Amanda. That is mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why. So yeah.
I know you asked me for a couple of strange presents to go in there, didn't you? When you were writing it.
Yeah, that's what we came up with.
I'm not going to say which ones I suggested.
I can't remember now. I wrote it last year.
That's what I'm not going to say.
But it was one of those ones, that Rich, where I think at the time, and I've got a load more examples of it to use to come up with memories of it. I asked a load of people on Facebook, "What's the weirdest Christmas present you had?" And most of them are in that piece. In that poem.
Man.
I do not know who got the Donald Trump toilet paper. I really don't know that one. No. It's a very cruel people out there.
Best toilet paper ever. Best toilet paper. Great wiping action.
Fantastic. Okay, Rich, over to you, mate, for your next piece.
Okay, this next one is based on an old word from, well, I'm not quite sure how old it is, but the Scottish poet Robbie Burns was using it in his poems. It's several centuries old, and it's Hochmagandy, which is an old Scottish word for the conjugal act. That would be sex. And this, you've heard of 50 Shades of Grey. This is 7 shades of Hochmagandy. Number 1, the bargain basement BG. Come and join me by the fireside, dear. Let's have a glass of brandy. And if the fancy takes you, there'll be time for Hochmagandy. Number 2, there's life in the old dog yet. I'm 93 years old, and though my legs are bowed and bandy, with Viagra and a splint, I can still manage Hochmagandy. Number 3, 1 sniff of the barmaid's apron. I cannot take me drink. I'm off my tits and half my shandy. It gives me bruised droop, leaves me incapable of Hochmagandy. Number 4, in every nook and cranny. If you get married on a nudist beach, you get all sandy. You'd better have a shower before attempting Hochmagandy. Number 5, that Manilow magic. Barry Manilow sang songs about ladies with names like Mandy. Mandy was nice, but as for that woman in his 1981 hit single Bermuda Triangle, oh, she was wrong, and she buggered off with another man right in front of poor Barry, broke his heart now because she couldn't control her insatiable desire for Hochmagandy. Number 6, fringe benefits. Morgan Freeman was a chauffeur for Miss Daisy, Jessica Tandy. She didn't pay his wage in cash, she paid in Hochmagandy. Number 7, you'll have to get out of the habit. I've been a celibate monk for 50 years. I'm still randy. Oh, bollocks to the monastery. It's time for Hochmagandy. Now, one final word of warning. Chastity is fine and dandy, but the human race would be extinct if not for Hochmagandy.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Now, you wouldn't have known this, Rich, actually. When we first got talking, was it last year, was it? Or earlier on this year?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was last year. I think it was last year, Amanda, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 2 things to come off this one. I always remember this. Because when you sent the book over to me, I thought it was going to be a good book, and I thought it was excellent. I flipped through the book. The first piece I actually read out to Amanda was, I had a go reading out was Hochmagandy. I made an absolute pig's ear about Amanda as well, didn't I? But I only got halfway through it, and I was absolutely just cracking up holes on that one completely. I remember, do you remember that, Amanda?
Yeah, I remember I flicked through a couple of poems because you was having him as a guest, and I was going to feature him on the extracts thing. And then as soon as I heard him read the poems out, I thought, I can't compete with that. I'm just going to have to use his own recordings.
Thanks.
That's why I know it's tremendous, mate. That's why Hochmagandy is one of my favourite pieces of yours, and that's why. Did you find when you were doing that piece, was that quite an easy piece to write? Was it for you, or did it was a bit of a tricky one?
Sometimes I have to go back on them and play around with them sometimes I'll get part of a poem and I'll have to keep going back, and sometimes you feel like you're forcing it, and at other times they just all come out in one big rush, and that was one of them. I just wrote it quite quickly, and I just could think of loads of things that rhyme with it unexpectedly. I was looking something else up about Scottish slang, I think, and I found that, and I thought that's got to go. I've got to do something with that word, and I was surprised how many words rhyme with it. And I find that if it suddenly strikes me that there's loads of things that you wouldn't expect that rhyme and they all come to mind, and I find that's quite a good creative spur for writing it all down.
Yeah. I mean, it's where you do a lot of big improvisation on it, aren't you? And then you could, if necessary, tidy it up afterwards. No, it's a tremendous piece that one, mate, straight away.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you. Thank you.
Amanda.
Okay. This is called The Devil Works at McDonald's. As he flipped another burger, fat spit in the devil's face. He swore under his breath. I know, his colleague Carl said. It's like hell in here. This? The devil asked. No, this is nothing like hell. In hell, we have parties every night, and there's a karaoke machine that plays the same song over and over again. That doesn't sound like much fun either, Carl said. Are you kidding me? The one song is Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. How could that not be fun? Carl shook his head and went to serve a customer. When he came back, the devil had accidentally set fire to the kitchen. We've got to get out of here, Carl said, rushing for the exit, but was beaten back by flames before everything went black. When he woke, he heard the familiar tune blasted from unseen speakers. Are we in? He began. Yes, hell, the devil replied excitedly, before belting out the lyrics to Living on a Prayer. Carl groaned. I should have gone to work at KFC.
Oh, great last line, Amanda, that. Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
It's that sort of piece, Rich. I don't think you could have put it, The Devil Works at Burger King. It doesn't sound so good, does it?
No.
No, excellent, Amanda. That was a workshop piece, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't put it in my book in case I got sued by any of the companies mentioned.
Yeah, either of them. So yeah, completely. No, it's great for reading, Andy. So right, okay. On to my last piece now, and then we're going to let Rich do the big conclusion with it. Since we've dragged him along here with his pussycat, so we have to let Rich finish the night off, of course, right? So okay, I'm trying to find mine. Now mine is. Just to cheer Rich up, this is another true story as well. But as I stated before, this did not happen to me. And I'm trying to find it actually. It's I've been organised there today. Right, I got it. Okay, this one happened a few years ago, right? It's called End of the Night. We met towards the end of an early Christmas party after my brother booked our taxi and you knocked on the front door, apologising to Melissa for being so late. It's okay, I smiled, letting her in. Sort of thing I would do, as my brother Pete looked at me in surprise, almost like he knew her. I wasn't sure about coming along, she continued to Melissa. I didn't know if you'd still be here so late, but I just needed somebody to talk to. I didn't know what she was talking about. As I watched her chat to Melissa, I needed it, Pete. Rick, the taxi's due in 5 minutes, he called out from my living room. But I shook my head. I've got some compliment as well. Give me 5 more minutes. Of course, 5 turned into 10. And I ended up staying until 4 a.m., then walked her back to her house half a mile away. You didn't have to do this, she said as we arrived at her front door. That's true. I could have other motives, I laughed. Good, because I certainly do, she kissed me. Her husband arrived back from his shift 4 hours early at 11 a.m. I bet the bus driver still has nightmares about me getting on that bus, my pants over my arms. that happened to my mate, that one did, right? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to mention the fact he was climbing down the drain pipe for just his boxer shorts.
No.
That's why. So I said, Amanda needs to know that wasn't me, right? So
yeah, I believe you where thousands wouldn't.
I love it, mate. Yeah, well, good job with his boxes on, and when he got on the bus, the driver, I said, "Room for a little one on top."
And well, the guy was chasing him down the road apparently
Oh, bloody hell.
with a pickaxe. But anyway, that's nothing to do with me, so that's another story. Right, okay, guys and girls, this is the finale now, and of course, since we've got a genius like us called Rich Davenport, I think it's only fair Rich takes us out tonight. So,
Well, you've all been...
over to you, mate.
Thank you. It's very kind of you. And Alfie, my very pal in here, I've enjoyed everything. It's been brilliant having the crack with you and listening to your stuff, which I've really enjoyed. And Amanda, your clickbait book is excellent. I must mention it. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, I've forgotten you got a copy of that as well. Yeah,
cracking stuff.
Yeah, it's quite funny, Rich. Man, tell Rich how that book came about.
Yeah, it was a workshop piece, and it was 10 things employers don't want you to know. And I started it in the workshop, finished it off, got onto the BBC with it, and thought I'm going to make a whole book based around this type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, so many ideas with it. I've really enjoyed it. Smashing stuff. Yeah.
Cheers for that, mate. Okay, over to you, buddy. Let you take us out, mate.
Okay. Well, it's with it being near the festive season. I did actually live in London for quite a while. When I was a bit younger, I went looking for a job down there and stayed down there about 8 years in the end. And I had some friends up the East End. And this is in no way a true reflection of the East End, in case any of them get cross with me. But this is called Cockney Santa Says Gertcha. That's one of my favourite words in the English language. Gertcha. And it needs a revival. Chaz and Dave are no longer with us, and it needs reviving. So this is Cockney Santa Says Gertcha. I am a Cockney Santa Claus. My reindeer will not hurt you. I've come to bring you presents and to share a festive Gertcha. But if the cops come knocking, just be careful what you say, because these presents all fell off the back of a one-horse open sleigh.
Oh, you clever man. I thought you the person about great with your life stuff, Rich, is you never know when it's going to finish. And did you expect that finish then, Amanda?
No.
That was tremendous. Oh, brilliant, mate. Oh, I didn't actually know you lived in London at one point. So were you looking for work down there for 8 years then, were you?
Well, I got a job and ended up staying there, and then just it was a good experience living there, but the pace of life then there's a lot. I don't know. It's not so much the actual place. It's just work tends to be a long way from where you live, and it's just the commuting and after a while it just got. I was like, the standard hours I was working were 8 till 6, and then there was a commute either side of that, so it was just getting stupid. So in the end,
that's too much. Yeah,
I'm going back up north.
Back up north, yeah. I did the same actually, because I got offered a job down in Greenwich. And I was looking at where I could move to, and I was affordable rent, and it was too far away, and I turned it down. I thought, nah, that's why. So, but Amanda, didn't you live in Cornwall at one point? Didn't you? Or something?
No,
I imagine.
Sorry. It was supposed to be a 6-month work placement, and I lasted 2 weeks. It was just like in the middle of nowhere, too far from everything, and I'd had enough. And I was only about 18 at the time.
Yeah, that's what I think you do when you live in so, like I said, you moved out, you're what you're comfortable in. You hit problems sometimes, don't you? It's like you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and we all said it like he was too far away, and we don't always work for you, but that's why. But no, fair play. Anyway, Rich, let you do the big plug, mate, to conclude with today. If people want to find out more about you, where do they go?
I'm on Facebook. It's facebook.com/rich.davenport1. I post videos on there of poems. I need to get some posted actually quite regularly, and if anybody's interested in the book, I'm donating a percentage from every copy of the book to the ME Association. I have ME, I wouldn't recommend it, and you can get the book from chinbeardbooks.com. That's chinbeard as in chin on the end of your face, and beard as in the thing that grows on it. Chinbeardbooks.com. So the book's available there, and yeah, that's it. And thanks so much for having me on the show. It's been great seeing you both again and hearing your stuff.
Been a pleasure, mate, as well. So, as I have to Spoken Label, I always say, hang around because we need to do a quick word with you, mate. But everybody, Stay safe and stay over and have a great Christmas. And Amanda?
Bye. Merry Christmas.
See, talk about the killer punchline at the end of that, Rich.
Everybody dies.
See you all soon, guys.
Storytime with Andy and Amanda.